Blessings and welcome everyone. Just a reminder before we begin. Your rising sign horoscope will give you additional clarity as to how a great deal of your sun sign horoscope may show up, and your moon sign horoscope will give you the less prominent side story that'll also be playing out for this 2-week period. Remember, horoscopes serve best when observed, like a weather or traffic report. You have influence over all outcomes with your thoughts, actions, choices, and deeds. Use the information that presents to help you make the highest choices for the highest outcomes. If you wish to schedule any of my services or like access to more content via my Patreon, follow the links below or go to my website, integrativemysticism.com.
Hey there, Aries. It's time to have a look and see what is going on when it comes to your final week of March 2021. And don't forget, if you are interested in a bit more context as to what is going on, especially when it comes to this coming 6 weeks, you can check out the new equinox video that I posted on my main channel page by clicking on my avatar below. And it's going to talk a lot about what's going on atmospherically for the entire collective. And this already started. This has been something that's been building up for some time. But if you want to know more, again, you can just watch that video. And just a quick reminder for all of you Patreon people out there, don't forget to check out your bonus astrology overview for this week. You can just follow the links down below, and that will be up by the end of the night Friday. And so what is going on when it comes to the astrology as it relates to some big shifts that we're going to talk about here in this video? Well, this week we are actually entering a really cool phase. We've got the Sun and Venus together moving into Aries, your sign. And, you know, the coolest thing about any kind of planet or any kind of luminary going into your first house is that you get that wild card blessing of the opportunity to direct the energy of what is being gifted to you towards anything that you want. And with the Sun and Venus at the same time in this part of your chart for the next 3 weeks, actually the Sun's going to be there for a full 4 weeks, but Venus will be here for about 3 weeks. It's about an attention magnet. It is the attention magnet. Venus, the planet of the divine ascended feminine, abundance, love, affection, generosity, and the Sun pulling in focus and pulling in vitality, pulling in kinetic energy. Where do you want attention to go? Now, it doesn't just mean you draw all that attention to yourself. If you want to, that's perfectly fine. But over the course of this next few weeks, you have a chance to start actually lifting things up and getting things to have more energy, more interaction, whether it's from the public or personal relationships, in order to give them their best chance. A lot of you Aries people are going to be finding that whatever you are wanting to put out there, to attract interest for, to attract love for, to attract any kind of conveyance of generosity, support, anything like that. You know, you have to put it out there, right? Because it's your responsibility. It's your first house. You've got to make sure that it is put out there to be seen and known. And it's kind of like that 90s movie, Field of Dreams. If you build it, if you show it, they will come. This is the time to really start making those debuts, putting things on the table to be seen, putting yourself out there to be seen. You are a lure in a lot of ways. And with this Sun-Venus conjunction, whether you are trying to lure in people or draw in money or draw in any kind of support or traction for what you're passionate about, you've got the big advantage of all the signs. As we get on to your cards, well, that follows suit very, very well. We've actually got the Knight of Wands upright when it comes to your spiritual themes of this week. And with the Knight of Wands, it is all about paying attention to what is going to pick up traction and allowing yourself to actually be not only more interactive, but to be more visible. Your visibility is heightened during this period. And so even if things have felt like they've been not getting a whole lot of attention, or maybe you've been feeling as though you've not been able to attract enough opportunities, enough options, enough people to make informed decisions or to see anything or find anything that resonates with you, you're going to be getting a lot of that with gusto this week. The Knight of Wands, however, is also prompting very much what we saw with the Astrology, be the initiator, regardless of whatever defenses you might be tempted to throw up in the comments down below. Because with the Knight of Wands, affirmative responses, as well as a lot of interest in you, is building up throughout this week. This is also a time where you can actually start taking all areas of your life down new roads and directions, especially when it comes to facing things that have gotten old, maybe started wearing a bit thin. People are more inclined for experimentation, for trying things out, even if they're just test drives. You have the cooperation on your side. As we get onto your material shifts when it comes to your job, your work, your finances, your personal abundance, anything to do with practical affairs, you've got the Four of Swords upright. And the Four of Swords is indicating that this week is going to be a bit on the quieter side when it comes to the hustle and bustle. And so you might want to also be a bit more active and engaged, especially if there are any important conversations, propositions, proposals, or applications pending or on the line. Because, sometimes with the Four of Swords, people are hitting the snooze button a lot more than they should. Now, that does not necessarily mean it's stuck that way. This also indicates that a lot of barriers or a lot of blocks, a lot of maybe conditions that you have been forced to reckon with, or you have felt you've been obliged to satisfy even if you didn't want to, difficult policies, difficult managers, difficult maybe clients or customers, things like that are all also taking a bit of a snooze. And so it's sort of like the teacher has left the room and now the students get a chance to play. This is a very, very strong week when it comes to recovery as well. Recovery of not only your energy, but also recovery of funds, recovery of projects, recovery of directions and recovered time. And so you want to use that to your advantage, right? Everything that has maybe been blocking or gatekeeping you is standing down. And this is a time to actually get ahead while everyone is on nap time. As we get on to your community, your communications, maybe friends, relatives, other people in your life, you do have the Strength card in reverse. And I do see that there could be some issues going on with a friend or a relative that has continuously engaged with you in a fairly unhealthy or fairly unfair way. And this might actually be sort of the last straw. Because with the Strength card reversed, I'm actually seeing something that has already been sort of a toxic or dysfunctional normal going off and finally kind of being seen for what it really is, right? Revealed. Maybe we were looking the other way. Maybe people were humoring the situation because it was a bit sensitive, or they just didn't know what else to do, got stuck in the bad habit of just emotionally fortifying as opposed to focusing on solutions. Well, the Strength card reverse is saying, yeah, there could be some outs going on this week for those who encounter people among your friends and family that are not interested in getting healthy or not interested in actually growing from where they are. That does not have to be the case across the board, of course. Remember, check your rising and your moon sign for more clarity on this. Some of you may actually find that this is something that just gets finally caught, so we can turn it around for the better. As we get on to your challenge this week, you do have the Empress in reverse. This week, your biggest challenge is actually going to be not stepping up, or maybe even keeping up old unhealthy habits. Because as I've said in the Tarot Home Study course and, in readings before, the Tarot of the Empress reversed always asks us to pay attention to where we are our own worst enemy. And in a lot of cases, it does have to do with having to learn and face matters where we have not developed, and all of us have certain spots where we have to catch up on skills or catch up on maybe different strengths, things that may have fallen behind, or things that we've never actually faced before, whether we've always been able to dodge it or someone else always took care of it. Well, the Empress card reversed is saying we are probably going to be finding that a lot of this week we get to change some things, maybe even retroactively, for the better, if we are willing to actually start facing areas where our own inner worst enemy had kind of been running the show. Now, this could actually be yes, bringing up some climactic moments when it comes to business or love or family, even areas with our health, because the Empress card reverse can talk about needing to face issues where maybe a bit of neglect or a bit of complacency is to blame. Sometimes that happens because we're just not feeling confident in our ability to solve the problem. When we do, and we face these situations for real, well, those issues that we've just kind of learned to live with take their, take their leave of us. And that is also an opportunity that with the Knight of Wands upright, we want to go for with a bit of enthusiasm, because it will pay off. As we get on to your relationships with love, romance, and partnerships, well, we do have the Ace of Wands in reverse, and the topic of things wearing a bit thin is coming up. And I don't think this necessarily has to be a bad thing. It looks as though a lot of you Aries people are going to be encountering both within partners or even new people, if you're available to new people, a situation where you have to find a way to create a new relationship with that person, or create a new love language, create a new way of interacting, create a new way of stimulating each other. Because of the Ace of Wands reversed, a lot of the old, a lot of the tried and true, a lot of the stuff that maybe we only learned through examples, right? Past relationships, or maybe examples that we got from the external, are not really doing it for either of us. Some of you may be finding that you are falling out of love or falling out of like with certain demonstrations of affection or certain relationship styles, certain relationship chemistries, and certain relationship arrangements. And that's perfectly okay. It's just a sign that you're evolving out of it. The Ace of Wands reverse, though, is indicating that this also means you've got to shake it up. You've got to change it up this week with your partner, and change it up with maybe the people that you are trying to, meet. Maybe start going out with people that are a type that you are attracted to, but you've never given a try to. A lot of that is here on the table. Remember, you've got the Sun and Venus in your sign, attention magnet, draw attention to where you want it to go. Bring in those solutions, bring in that new love, bring in that new type of relationship and that new type of relating, and you are going to find that you are both quite satisfied with the new arrangement, or maybe the new person, if that is what you are looking for. But you can't go on through this week the same old as you were. Okay, we've got to catch that. So that is what I've got for you, Aries. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because you all know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, you can go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.